do not ignore red flags. If a person is telling you who they are by their actions, believe them. Welcome to part 4 of the Preparing for Dating series. This is the last episode in this series, and if you haven't seen the first 3 episodes, I encourage you to go back and watch them before you watch this one. Now that you've done the inner work, it is time for you to date. Yay! I know some of y'all have been waiting for this part because those other parts, those other episodes, I told you it's not time to date. Okay. It is so important for you to do the work within yourself before you start to date. It's one thing to date and find yourself, and it's another thing to know yourself and then date. The first point that we're going to get into in this episode is the fact that you are not looking for a savior in a partner. Remember, we've done the work, so we should be a whole person. You're looking for a partner, not a savior. What does looking for a savior look like, right? A lot of people go into dating with a mindset of take. Oh, what can this person do for me? How can I get this? Or am I going to get my needs met? Are they going to come showering me with gifts or affirmations and things like that? You should not go into a relationship solely looking to take. So when you meet someone, it's not about what they can give you. First of all, it's about how they show up and how you show up. So really get to know this person for who they are, not for who they can be to you. Also, we're not lowering our standards. We're not. And this is still, you're not looking for a savior, you're looking for a partner. So when in looking for a partner, make sure that you are not lowering your standards. Make sure you have standards. Again, if you did not watch the first 3 parts of the series, you need to go back and watch them and then come back. Because at this point, you should have standards. You should have a list. You should have an idea of the type of person that's suitable for you. Remember, we're looking for suitable over compatible. You can be compatible, but not suitable. But if you're suitable, you're compatible. If you're asking, well, how can I make sure that I keep my standards while dating, right? You need to refer back to your vision board often, refer back to your list often until it becomes you. So that way, when you meet someone, right off bat, within the first 5 minutes of the conversation, you'll know if you're lowering your standards or not. Make sure that their character is right. Make sure that they're integrous. Make sure that they're kind, and make sure that they live a lifestyle that aligns with the lifestyle that you live. And that brings me to point number 2. Make sure that you are protecting the foundation that you built. So along with obviously making sure that their lifestyle aligns with your lifestyle and your visions aligned, right? And make sure that person actually has a vision. Now, if they don't, you don't have to necessarily cross them off the list just yet. That is actually a way to indicate if that person is honest and integrous and has a good character and is serious about what it is that they are pursuing in life and not just you. And so if you meet someone and they don't necessarily have a vision, you can encourage them to make one. And I first met my husband when we were talking as friends, right? We would share things that we were doing to help encourage each other. One, my husband was reading this book, and it was about relationships and how to create relationship goals and things like that. And he actually bought me a book, and it came with a workbook, and we went through the book. We read the book separately, and we'll come and talk about it together, and we'll go through the workbook. And it was a great way to connect, but then also a great way to let each other know, like, hey, I'm serious about this, and I see that you're serious about this, and we both take what we're doing serious. So if the person does not have a vision for their life, it's okay to, encourage them to do so. However, if they don't seem to be moving in the direction that you would like, them to be moving in, then it's okay to set them aside.
Sorry, not interested.
That is a way that you can protect the foundation that you set. You Do not ignore red flags. If a person is telling you who they are by their actions, believe them. Do not try to make them into something that they're not. Stay anchored in what you know that you deserve. It is so easy to get caught up in potential. It's so easy to get caught up in someone's words that we tend to miss the reality of the situation. So, protecting your foundation and protecting all of the things that you work so hard for and to get to this place is so important that you do yourself that favor and don't, lower your standards that you just made. You've lowered your standards before. It's not time for you to keep doing it. It's time for you to stick to what you know. And don't be thirsty. Don't be thirsty. Don't be thirsty. Thirst will lead you to drinking something that's not healthy for you.
Yep.
Being thirsty will have you end up in the same relationship that you was just in that didn't work.
Yep.
You have to for real stick to your boundaries, stick to your goals, stick to your standards. You have to for real do it.
For real.
And that goes with making sure that you maintain the work that you just did. It's easy to maintain this new sense of life when you're by yourself. It's when you start to go out and date and meet people where it gets challenging, and it challenges the work that you've done in yourself. So when a guy comes to you and they start sweet talking and it's looking good, it's smelling good, right? It's feeling right, and y'all kiki giggling, woo woo woo. Don't get caught up in that. You have to go in like laser focused on my goal is marriage. My goal is new standards. My goal is vision. My goal is, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to keep that in the back of your mind. Now, I'm not saying to go and be a drill sergeant and be like, going in and asking these questions.
You plotting on me, boy?
Make sure you're still, you don't run them off by being crazy, but just have those planned in your mind so that way when you are out on dates and you hear something that don't align, it should be like, okay, I know that this is not going to work. And then you be polite like, hey, I really enjoyed our time. I don't see this going any further than these few dates. And don't keep these people as your friends either. Don't do that. They're not your friends.
You're not my dad.
They're not your friends. Now it's important to have a friendship as a foundation in a romantic relationship. However, when you meet someone and you're interested in them and you want to go out on dates and things like that, and you find out that it's not going to work, that is not your friend. Don't try to make these people your friends, okay? Because then that's going to be very tempting for you to have some friends with benefits, and we don't need that anymore now, do we? No. So if it don't work out, let them go and keep it moving. I want to share what this looked like for me and my husband. So when we decided to go on our first date, we had already had conversations. Before we went out on our date, we were not talking every day. It was very clear that we were interested in each other, but we were so serious about keeping the work that we've done, keeping boundaries, keeping our standards, and not doing the things the same way that we've been doing them, before this. So we had established a very general relationship, a general friendship. We would call each other every now and then. When I mean every now and then, I mean like once a week or like once every other week. Now, this is when we first met. Now, granted, we did see each other every week because I had become a sound engineer at his home church, and I was not yet going to that church. However, I did work there every week. So we saw each other every week, but we didn't heavily converse. Are you following me? Okay. And so we would check in, maybe discuss like some, I don't know, like Bible talk, like just randomly just talking, blah blah. Nothing too serious, nothing, keeping it cute and light. We did not talk at in the wee hours of the night, right? We didn't do that. It was very respectful, very intentional, and very mindful. Okay. And so when we went out on our first date, we still didn't really know much about each other because we had kept that pre dating season very sacred, very simple, very cute, very not too much. And it was on our first date that then we started to get into those questions of, so what are you looking for in a spouse? Because we both were dating with intentions of getting married. And so that was an indicator that we were both on the same page, right? Because sometimes when you go out on dates, not everybody actually wants to get married. Not everybody actually are ready for that. And so that'd be something that would be a red flag. Like if someone says, "Hey, I don't know if I'm, ready to get married yet, sometime in the future," that may not be the person for you. Like that's not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. That is not a bad thing. That's great that they know, they're not in the season of dating seriously. Because as Christians, we don't just miscellaneously date. We date with the purpose of getting married, but that is a whole nother video for a whole nother time. Maybe I'll get into it. How about you comment below if you actually want to see a video on dating with the purpose of getting married? We both knew that we were dating with the intention of getting married. Cool, check. What type of person are you, looking for, as far as personality type? Do you get along well with being adventurous? Or we were just getting into it like, oh, I'm very adventurous, I'm very like outgoing, but I love to be by myself, and so those type of things, really those were things that will go under the compatibility category, right? I think that once we started to talk about ministry, and because my husband is a musician and he's also a pastor, I'm also a pastor and a musician and a songwriter and a teacher. We both teach. So it was a lot of things that we had in common. But once we started to talk about the life that we wanted to live as it pertains to ministry and obeying God, that's when we knew that we were suitable for each other. Honestly, I knew that I needed him when what I wanted was not suitable for me. I realized very quickly in one relationship that, oh my God, like I was running away from what I actually needed. For instance, I was not interested in musicians. My husband is a musician. So right off bat, it's different. Right off bat, it's, you know, already not looking like what I wanted to look like. And when I was making my list, I remember that God had me completely make a new one. He was like, "Hey, I need you to redo this because I need you to write the list that I'm telling you to write. I want you to write down, musician." I'm like, huh? Lord, what? But that was exactly what I needed. And so when we went on our first date, we started to get into the nitty gritty of our lives, and it just clicked for us. We was like, yes. And I remember after our first date, my husband, we were at church and he pulled me to the side. And at the time, this is literally like a week after our first date, or maybe like a couple of days after our first date, he pulled me to the side. He was like, "Hey, I want to marry you." And I was like, "Oh,
She said, what? She said, yeah.
okay." And let me tell you, he had to live that down because I'm like, you gonna have to show me that this is what you really want. I'm not lowering my standards, I'm not compromising, and I'm not going to go just off of your word. The next point: be open but discern wisely. I'll just use my husband and I as an example. Had I not been open to dating a musician, I would have missed out on my husband. And the same for him. Like he had never dated a singer or a musician for that matter. And he also had a couple of other things where he was like, I would have never thought that I would date someone like you because of X, Y, and Z. He wasn't like coming at me like, oh, you're not my type and I would have never talked to you, blah, blah, blah. Because I know that's a thing on these internet streets and everybody's been talking about that. However, sometimes it's really true. It's true. Like me and my husband were not each other's type as it came down to like our profession and the things that we were interested in. And And we realized that the people who we actually liked, we didn't actually like them.
We have nothing whatsoever in common. I don't even like you.
We like the idea of them. And I think that we let society tell us who we were. Like I let society tell me that all musicians are dogs. All musicians are selfish. All musicians have no vision. All and my husband is also a preacher's kid. So he's a musician and he's a preacher kid, baby, and he's fine, like wine, chocolate. Oh, so you fine, so you must don't have one, don't stick to one. Oh, you a PK. So I let society tell me who he was, but that's not who he is. And then also he let society tell him who I was. But this is well before we met each other. So at the time that we met each other, God was already dealing with us because we had already done the work. I had already made my list, and it was so much different than the any other list that I've ever made. And I think I've only made actually two lists before, like my final one. But I had a different mindset. I had a different approach. I had a different revelation about people, right? And so I was open, but I was discerning wisely. Like even though the first impression was good, I was still like, okay, yes, you look good. I'm attracted to you. Yes, you are integrous. Yes, you have great character. Yes, you really live the life that you say that you live. Like some people who go to church and some people who say that they love God and some people who say that they are Christian, they are still living double lives, or they still do things that I wouldn't necessarily do because of my conviction. And there's no shame or no, dismissal to them. It's just that I knew that I needed to discern wisely, making sure that this person is who he say he is, and he's not, fronting in front of people and then behind closed doors he's doing something else. All in all, as you're dating, well, as you are, opening yourself up to date, trust yourself. Trust the work that you've done. Trust God. Trust your vision and allow that to lead you through the dating experience. And also, I would suggest you keep track of your dates. Keep track of the red flags. Keep track of what you liked and what you didn't like, and you can just kind of study this process. And I know some people may think like, don't take all that and I don't need to do all that. And that seems so fake and that seems so, meticulous and strategic. But the truth of the matter is what you were doing before didn't work.
And oh,
So you need to do something different. Number two, a lot of times we get into situations that end up being detrimental because we weren't aware. For some people, it is very necessary to keep a journal of the experiences that they go through. It is very necessary for you to write down what you like in someone and what you did not like so that you can see it and so that you will not make the same mistake again. One more thing, and this is specifically to my ladies. Please do not go searching for a man. It is so important for you to just stay focused on what you're doing. It's so important for you to not get caught up in these little fake butterflies. Don't get caught up in that. Stay focused. Don't be having those laser eyes looking for a man. I just know that when we thirsty and when we looking, and y'all know what I mean when I say looking, what happens is we end up settling when we do that. When we put on and when we go out looking for attention, that's really what that is. That's when you settle. That's when you start ignoring red flags. That's when you start falling for the okie doke. That's when you get in your feelings. That's when it becomes about the man. And it's not about just you enjoying your life and living your life. When I came into my husband's church and he found me, I was legit not interested. Like I found him attractive, cool, but it wasn't I didn't feel nothing on the inside. That was just like, ooh, that's my husband. You know what I'm saying? It was because I was so focused on what I was doing and I allowed him to pursue me. I allowed the friendship to grow organically. And I know for me personally, when I have that type of approach, it was very lustful. It was very much giving thirsty on the inside. Like nobody would ever know. how would they know? They're gonna know. How would they know, right? Women, we do a very good job of putting out these signals, these subliminal signals of, hey, I want you. What's good? Come talk to me. Don't do that. Do not do that. I would recommend you 110 out of 10, 100, 1000%. Don't do that. Mind your business, stay cool, stay focused, and it'll work out. Thank you so much for watching the entire Preparing for Dating series. I really hope that you enjoyed not only this episode, but all the rest of them before. I really hope this helps. And if it did, please, first of all, subscribe if you are not subscribed, like, and share with someone you know who needs to hear this, right? Maybe play this at a girls' night and y'all dissect and talk amongst each other about what you're going through in this season, if you're preparing for dating or if you are dating, right? And let me know if this has helped you, or if you have some unanswered questions, or if you have a certain situation that you would love my take on. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.